Cool. Then I need your names when you volunteer. There we go. All right. Factoring, guys. This should all, well, I don't know. It should be easy. It should be review, but we'll see, right? It's been a while. You did maybe some factoring in geometry, maybe, but again, here we go. So right here, this is going to be an example of factoring using GCF method, greatest common factor. So I'm going to pull out what they both have. How many Y's do they both have? So I need your hand. I'd like it better if you did your hands up, because then I can, and then people who haven't gone, I need you. So Eamon, you've already gone. You won't be able to go today. Mila, you've gone. Cece, go ahead. They both have 2 Y's. So I'm going to take out Y squared. And then I put a parenthesis showing like what's left. So if I take 2 Y's, Y squared out of a Y to the cubed, what's left? How many, if I'm like dividing it out, how many are still left? Marlene. Y plus 9. And you're done. Let's move on. This is, again, GCF. Greatest common factor. All right. So I'm first going to look at numbers. Then I'm going to look at X's. Then I'm going to look at Y's. So numbers. What number is a common factor for 5 and 15? Kaiten? 5. Okay. I'm going to just keep on calling on people. So if you want to leave your hand up, if you just want to be called on, you can do that. Terry, what is the X's? How many X's do they both have?
X squared.
They both have X squared. I'm going to take that out. Neo, I actually need to write that down as your name. Oh, I put Noe. Neo. Okay. Neo, what's the Y's that they both have?
Y squared.
Exactly. Okay. Now a parentheses is going to be 5 out of 5. It's nothing. It's a 1, but I'm not going to write a 1. X squared out of X squared. I took it all out. I don't need to write an X. Y squared out of Y to the third. So there's still 1 left over. So you're going to put a Y in the parentheses. Then I'm going to put a plus sign because that's the separation. Eubine, you already volunteered this week, so I can't. But I need more people. Now, 5 out of 15. Manuel, 5 out of 15 is what? 3. Zach, I've already heard from you this week. Sebastian, I've already heard from you this week. Lily, hi. X squared out of X to the third. Just X. And then Y squared out of Y squared is just nothing. I mean, I took them all out. So you're done with number 2. All right. Number 3. Normal factoring. Just find 2 factors. That's going to be parentheses. Go ahead and try it on your own. 2 numbers that multiply to make negative 10 and add to 3. Volunteer to tell me what my 2 parentheses are. Daniel.
Negative 2 and 5.
Okay, tell me how to write the parentheses.
X minus 2 and X plus 5.
Perfect. All right, number 4. This is called a difference of two squares, and there is a video on that if you need to remember. It's where the first number is a perfect square and the second is a perfect square. So I've got a p squared and I've got a 36. So Kaiten, we just do once a week because I have here's the people who haven't helped me yet. Jarshin, Ryan, Julian, Aiden, Mia, Ariana, Daniela. Daniel, didn't you just do it?
Also,
Eddie.
this is my last name. Julio's my first name.
You're not Daniel Leon? Your name is not Daniel Leon? You said Julio is your first name. But what about Daniel Leon? Who's that?
Wait, what?
I have a person in my class named Daniel Leon. Is Daniel your first name? Okay, so you're not Julio. Somebody just said, my first name's Julio.
Kaiten. You're calling me Kaiten for my first name, Julio.
Oh! Sorry. Okay, got it, Julio. So Daniel, I got you volunteered. Eddie, I need you to volunteer. Dana, I need you to volunteer. And then I guess we can just go back to everybody, or yeah. Okay, difference of two squares. So if I just called your name that you need to volunteer, help me out so you can get your participation this week. Daniela, what do you think number 4 is?
I think it's p plus 6 in parentheses, and then in another set of parentheses, p minus 6.
You are right. Very good. Okay, woohoo, number 5. So if you don't know 84 very well, then you can just write down the factors of 84. Like 84 cut in half is 2 times 42. Well, does that make 5 when you add it or subtract? No. 84, I know that 12 goes into it. 12 times 7. Does that make 5 when I add it or subtract it? Yeah. So I'm going to put 12 and 7. Now, since the 5 has a plus sign, I need the larger number to be positive. The 12 needs to be positive because when I go negative 7y plus 12y, that's how I get the positive 5y. So that's how you know which one's positive, which one's negative. Okay. All right. Number 6. Number 6 is a trinomial that has an a as a 6. So that means that I can try different things like 2 times 3 or 6 and 1. And then I need to try the 10. So this is a lot of playing around. Some of you have learned like a method where you can do like a star and do like 60 and negative 7. And then you put the 6s. So that might be something that some of you have done before. It's like negative 60. But 10. 10 is made up from 5 times 2. So it could be like I could try this. I could try this. I could try this. I could try this. See what I'm doing? I'm playing around. Because if you don't, what if you forgot the little trick that your junior high teacher or your freshman teacher taught you? Then I don't want you to be relying on tricks and little gimmicks. I want you to actually know how to find it. So on number 6, does somebody have it? No. Sean, you want to tell me what you think you have? Sean? No?
Yeah, sorry, I froze there for a second.
Yeah.
X minus 12, or a minus 12 and a plus 5.
Where's the 6?
What do you mean?
Well, the first coefficient is 6a squared.
Oh, I just did 60 and then I did the x.
Okay, but when you do that, you still have to have like a 6 in front, maybe, if that's what you think it is. Or maybe it's 2 times 3. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do that.
Someone else? Julio?
6a plus 5 times a minus 2.
Yes. So that's with him playing around or whichever method he chose. Okay, number 7. All right, this is a cube, a sum of cubes. Let me tell you how this works. So I'm going to have x to the third plus 2 to the third, which means that my a and my b are like that. So this is how you solve it. This is the pattern to solve. You're going to do a plus b, and then a squared plus 2a plus b squared. So at least write this down. This is the pattern for sum of cubes. It's called sum of cubes. And here's the answer. I'll just tell you guys. X plus 2. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a minus. X squared minus 2x plus 4. And if I foiled the x, and if I foiled the 2, then I would get x squared plus 8. So that's a weird one. It doesn't, it's a little higher level. I don't even know if you did that in Algebra 1. So, okay, I'm going on to number 8. On number 8, you're going to use a method called grouping. Grouping means that I'm going to chunk it out into 2 separate pieces that have a common term. So like, notice here how my first two, ay minus yx, both have a y. Then I'm going to do minus, and both of these, now watch what I'm doing, because if I distribute out an a, so I'm separating these two, but this negative sign is going to affect this, so we're going to be careful. So now I'm going to look and say, what's in common on my first parentheses here? I grouped them. My first grouping is a y. So I'm going to do this, y a minus x. Okay, then I'm going to do minus, what's in common here? An x. X plus a. Here's a little hint. I could have switched these up at the beginning, but see, I don't think that your brain would realize to do that right away. So what I decided to do is write it like this, but now in order for me to make these parentheses the same, I've got to multiply by -1 so that I can get this x plus a to be an a minus x. I want it to be an a minus x. So I have to multiply by -1. So here's how it's going to end up being. Y times the quantity a minus x, that doesn't change. Plus x, I'm multiplying by -1, a minus x. So right here is where the change happened. I multiplied by -1. Now, since these are in common, I write that first. And then I write down, well, what's left? Y plus X. That's grouping. Okay. Number 9, let's see where we're at time, because I need to make sure. Oh, I need to go a little faster. Let me just give you the answer to 9. X squared times the quantity x plus 8 minus x plus 8, because if we distributed, so I'm going to get x plus 8, and then this is like a 1 here, x squared minus 1. And on number 9, x squared minus 1 is a difference of 2 squares, and it's x plus 1, x minus 1. So I just wanted you to copy number 9. We're short on time. I only have 13 minutes left. Okay, number 10. I'm just going to go through and do these for you. Number 10. So I first need to find the midpoints, which we have to review, the distance formula, and the equation of the line is what we practiced the last 2 days. So A, midpoint. Here we go. The midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. You add up the x values, divided by 2. You add up the y values, divided by 2. That's the midpoint theorem. So here we go. If I'm given these 2 points, right, I'm going to do the x values added up. Negative 7 plus 2 divided by 2. Then I'm going to add the y values up and divide by 2. 11 plus 2. That's the midpoint formula. The midpoint will be 5 halves, comma, 13 halves. But again, you can't really graph that. So it would be 2.5. If you had to actually put the point on a graph, 2.5, comma, 6.5. The distance formula, here we go. The distance formula equals the square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared. You subtract the x values and square it. And then I add the quantity y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Okay. Plug in the numbers x, y, x, y. Here we go. The distance formula equals, and I'm going to say it out loud for you, so if you want to just listen instead of looking, that's totally fine. Yasmin, do you have a question?
For your midpoint formula, I believe that you got the x coordinates wrong because it's negative 7 plus 2. You answered 5 over 2 instead of
Negative 5 halves.
So it would be negative 2.5.
Yep. Thank you. Okay. So, distance formula. Subtract the x's. All right. 2 minus negative 7 squared plus the quantity 2 minus 11 squared. The next line, the square root of 9 squared, which is 81, plus negative 9 squared, another 81. The distance formula is basically 81 times 2, but that's 9 times 9, right? So I can do 9 rad 2. In order to find C, the equation of the line, I first have to find the slope, which is 2 minus 11 over 2 minus negative 7, negative 9 over 9, negative 1. I'm going super fast on this because I need to get down to the graphing. So let's pick an easy point, 2 comma 2. And then my slope is negative 1. Point, slope. This is what we've been doing the past couple days. Y minus 2 equals negative 1 times the quantity x minus 2. Work it out. I get y equals mx plus b. And we haven't done slope-intercept form. We use standard form a lot. So that's how you would do the equation of the line is slope-intercept form if you want to graph it super simple. Standard form is a little bit harder to graph with intercepts. Okay. Graphing quadratics. This is a parabola, guys. And there's a 2 in front, right? So something to keep in mind. All right. We need to find the vertex. We need to find the y-intercept. Ready? Y-intercept means set x equal to 0. And the x-intercept means that I set y equal to 0. So I want to have you keep that in mind. All right. Vertex is the first task. Finding the vertex is, can someone tell me how to find the x coordinate of the vertex? It's a little formula. Do you remember how to find the x value of the vertex? Anyone volunteer, even if you have already done. Okay, good thing we're going over it. Negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a. Okay, that means that I'm going to have my vertex b, negative b over 2a, and then the function f of negative b over 2a. I want to remind you that f of x is the same thing as my y. Here we go. Negative b over 2a. A is 2, b is negative 3, c is negative 5. Negative b over 2a. Negative 3 over 2 times 2. 3/4. So my first value of my vertex is 3/4, comma. Now to find the y value, you plug in x into your function, into your quadratic. That's going to be f of 3/4. If I plugged in 3/4 for x, I'm going to get 2 times 3/4 squared, 2x squared, 2 times 3/4 squared, 2x squared, minus 3 times 3/4, minus 5. Right? Okay. 3/4 squared is 9/16 times 2. 9/16 times 2 is 18 over 16. 3 times 3/4 is 9/4. minus 5 is minus 5. In order to do this math problem, I need to have a common denominator. Okay? 18/16, you guys, I could reduce right now to 9/8 to make my life easier. And now I've got 8 as a denominator and I've got 4 as a denominator. 9/8 minus 9/4 minus 5. Common denominator needs to be 8. So that means I'm going to multiply the second fraction by whatever 4 needs to become. What do I multiply 4 by to get an 8? 2, right? And this is like 5 over 1, right? What do I multiply 1 by to get an 8? 8 over 8. So my common denominator is 8. And I've got 9 minus 9 times 2, 18 minus 5 times 8, negative 49 over 8. And you're like, what? Well, 3/4, comma. It goes into 49 6 times with 1 left over, negative 6 and 1/8. This is a lot. I know. And I only have you for 2 more minutes. To find the y-intercept, part B, set x equal to 0. So that's going to be f of 0 equals 0 minus 0 minus 5, which is negative 5. My y-intercept is negative 5, 0 comma negative 5. My x-intercept, set y equal to 0, which gets me, and I have to factor it, 0 product property. I'll just tell you because of time, 2x minus 5, x plus 1, x equals 5 halves, x equals negative 1. I have 2 x-intercepts. It's a parabola. My y-intercept is at negative 5. Let me do a pen. Blue. My x-intercept is 2.5 and negative 1. My vertex is 3/4, comma, negative 6 and 1. Oh my gosh. It's like that. All right. Remember, this is recorded, okay? So what you need to do, and let me stop the recording now. What you need to do is you need to go and I think I can stop